The finale of Human Vapor delivers everything the series has been building toward: the downfall of Governor Miora, the truth behind the Human Vapor conspiracy, Kiyoko's heartbreaking sacrifice, and one final supernatural twist that completely changes the story's ending. While Miura is finally exposed as the mastermind behind the attacks, the final moments reveal that defeating the villain doesn't necessarily end the curse of the Human Vapor. Instead, the series closes by suggesting that the power itself has simply found a new host. Throughout the series, Ren Tsutsumida, the Human Vapor, appeared to be the main threat. By the finale, however, it becomes clear that Ren was never acting entirely on his own. The hidden recording captured by Detective Fujita proves that Governor Miura personally ordered multiple terrorist attacks, including the massacre inside his own campaign headquarters. He even instructed Ren to kill innocent campaign volunteers and homeless civilians simply because their deaths would make the public more fearful and increase support for his re-election campaign. The attacks were never random, they were carefully staged political theater. Miura believed ordinary people existed only as human fuel, disposable lives meant to keep powerful leaders in control. His bizarre philosophy about society functioning like a beehive perfectly explains every decision he made throughout the season. To him, sacrificing innocent people wasn't murder, it was simply the cost of maintaining power. Ironically, the man who spent the entire season treating others as expendable ends up describing himself as human fuel after his own allies abandon him. Once his crimes become public, the machine he built no longer has any use for him. His attempted suicide is equally important. Rather than facing justice, Miura wants to choose his own ending. Kenji refuses to allow that, physically hanging on to him until the police arrive. Saving Miura isn't an act of mercy, it's making sure he answers for every life he destroyed. His arrest is the series' biggest victory because it proves that even someone who manipulated politics, the police, and public opinion can eventually be exposed. The most emotional part of the finale belongs to Kiyoko. Although she tells Kenji she has a plan to stop Ren, the recorded message she leaves behind reveals she never truly believed he could be saved. Instead, she planned to die with him. That decision becomes much more understandable once the series reveals their shared past. Kiyoko and Ren weren't simply enemies. They had both suffered together inside White Center, where they endured imprisonment and forced labor. Their childhood flashback shows that Ren had once been the closest thing she ever had to a father. His innocent wish for him to become part of her family makes their final confrontation even more tragic. By the end, Kiyoko understands that Ren is no longer capable of escaping what he has become. Rather than allowing him to continue killing innocent people, she traps both of them inside the underground vault before triggering the explosion. It's a heartbreaking decision because she is saving countless lives while sacrificing her own. At least that's what everyone believes. Did Ren really die? Officially, nobody knows. 1 year later, the authorities admit they never recovered either Ren's or Kyoko's body. Instead, investigators conclude that both simply disappeared inside the underground vault. That uncertainty matters. Throughout the series, the Human Vapor has never behaved like an ordinary criminal. His abilities constantly blur the line between science fiction and the supernatural, making it impossible to know whether an explosion would actually destroy him. The lack of bodies deliberately keeps the mystery alive. If Ren truly died, the story would likely have confirmed it. Instead, the series leaves enough uncertainty for us to question whether the Human Vapor can ever truly be destroyed. The final image is easily the most important moment in the episode. As Kenji sleeps, a cloud of vapor silently drifts into his home before taking the shape of Kiyoko. The scene strongly suggests that Kiyoko survived the explosion, or more accurately, that she inherited the Human Vapor's abilities. Earlier episodes established that Ren's transformation fundamentally changed his existence. The finale now implies those powers may not simply disappear when one host dies. Instead, they can pass to someone else. Whether this transfer happened during the explosion or through some other unknown process is left intentionally unexplained, but the visual language leaves little room for another interpretation. Kiyoko appears exactly the way Ren once did. The Human Vapor still exists, only the person inside has changed. Is Kiyoko still herself? That question is deliberately left unanswered. And like Ren, whose humanity had largely disappeared after years of manipulation and violence, Kyoko's appearance feels peaceful rather than threatening. She doesn't attack Kenji, she simply appears beside him. That small difference leaves several possibilities. One interpretation is that Kiyoko remains completely herself but now possesses Ren's supernatural abilities. Another is that she exists somewhere between life and death, neither fully human nor entirely gone. The darkest possibility is that, just as Ren slowly lost himself over time, Kiyoko may eventually suffer the same fate. The series refuses to answer which outcome is true. Instead, it ends with uncertainty, suggesting that while one battle has ended, another may only be beginning. Kenji survives the finale, but victory comes at an enormous cost. He loses Detective Fujita, watches Kiyoko seemingly sacrifice herself, and spends an entire year believing she's gone forever. Even though Miora is arrested and his conspiracy exposed, Kenji doesn't receive the happy ending many of us expected. His final visit to Kyoko's grave shows that he still carries enormous guilt over everything that happened. That's exactly why the last scene carries so much emotional weight. If the Vapor truly is Kiyoko, then Kenji's story isn't over. Whether she's returned as the woman he loved or as something entirely different remains the biggest unanswered question the finale leaves behind. At its heart, Human Vapor isn't simply about a supernatural killer. It's about the way power transforms people. Miura becomes a monster because he believes human lives are resources. Ren becomes a monster because he's exploited until his humanity is stripped away. Kiyoko sacrifices herself to stop that cycle, only to seemingly inherit the very power she fought against. The finale suggests that evil isn't defeated simply by killing a villain. Systems of corruption, trauma, and violence have a way of surviving long after the people who created them are gone. Miura falls, the conspiracy is exposed, justice finally begins. Yet the appearance of Vapor in Kenji's home reminds us that some legacies refuse to disappear so easily. The Human Vapor may have changed faces, but the story hints that its mystery is far from over.